Basketball was originated in America in 1891 and has taken tremendous strides. Careful study of the basic skills involved and good teaching of basketball fundamentals have been largely responsible for its great popularity.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into the DNBA live show presented by Illegal Pete's.
Solid. That was solid.
Live from all over Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Adam Matas. I am joined, as always, by Eric. You know him as D-Line Co.
That's right!
Wow. That's some real energy right there. In the bottom right, hat backwards, Harrison Wynn.
Had to join you, my man, with the hat backwards.
I thought we decided just last night you would never wear a hat again.
That was all the way yesterday, Eric. He's moved on. He's a different man now. And then down in the bottom left, it's Brendan Vogt.
Harrison Wynn having a better evening than Harrison Ford, it turns out. I don't know if you guys have seen the news.
I saw that. Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, he had his third incident with his private pilot's license. He cut across a runway as someone else was trying to land.
Yeah, Harrison Ford rules still apply like during a quarantine. It's not just an entire free-for-all.
Wait,
Harrison Ford's a for real stoner, right?
Well,
I don't know. I'm sure.
I mean, he
this
seems
was
like
a
true
he's...
story.
Well,
you know what? I know somebody that know the answer to this. I actually would bet good money he knows the answer to this.
But hold on, what's
Senior
the difference
NBA writer for the Action Networks. Not you idiots that can never fact check me. Senior NBA writer from the Action Network. It's Matt Moore.
Oh, look at this.
What an
villain.
At least he's got the Nuggets thing in the back. That's a
I love this so much, what Matt is bringing to the table right now, with the obvious exception of the name he's given himself. But
Did you even wear a suit to the playoffs, Matt?
Yes, I actually always wear suits to the playoffs. That's the one. That's the time. I just I had the inclination when I was getting ready for the show. I got back from a run and was like,
what?
"Oh, be real." I was like, I haven't worn clothes. Like, not okay. I've worn clothes.
Wow, there's an image.
Play it back.
Worn clothes. No, I haven't worn like grown-up clothes in literally months. Let's go see what that seems like on the DNBA show.
yeah, right. Well,
there
what
it
better
is.
place?
If ever there was a place to dress nice, it's this.
Well,
show.
the other thing was like I had no idea, having not seen him, what to expect, but I had to make sure that I always look classier than Brendan. Like, no matter what.
Hold on.
I have to look classier than Brendan.
This one is going, I think, to the. Let me do a quick eval here. All right. Brendan has a mustache that makes me feel a little uncomfortable, but it could also be classified as a very adult look. So
Very adult look. What?
I guess Matt
do you
wins. Matt wins.
do you mean like adult penitentiary? Because like that, like
the word adult got co-opted, and now. Like, it used to just be like you couldn't wait to be older, but if you just use the word adult and put it on the front of almost any other word, it becomes creepy. Like, we're going to an adult park. Like, oh god, yeah. I don't want to go to an adult. Or like an adult motel, right?
An adult party.
Brendan is just an adult man staring at you from behind the bushes.
Yeah, he definitely has an adult mustache. That is an adult mustache on Brendan.
Anyway, how are you guys doing?
Harrison Ford, the last I checked, was still pro marijuana, but not so much that I would classify him as a stoner.
But I thought he actually was a stoner, though. Maybe he does not like publicly talk about it, but I thought that was his reputation around Hollywood, was that he's just like.
I could easily see it.
Like, what's the guy that the singer, the country singer?
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. He's like Willie Nelson level stoner.
I'm sure that
nobody's a Willie Nelson level stoner. Come
no
on.
one is.
I think Don Nelson is. Willie Nelson,
Yeah.
Don Nelson.
It's
The
Snoop
Holy
Dogg.
Triumvirate.
Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson are that's like the best thing you need to like. This is a lesson for other people that are starting their lives over and won't make the same mistakes we did early on. But you can just like establish yourself as a stoner, and then you can just be an idiot your whole life, and everyone like applauds you for it. It's amazing. Like,
okay, yeah, no, he definitely qualifies because apparently he quote smoked Shia LaBeouf's fugitive dad in a cannabis competition on the set of the action adventure flick Indiana Jones.
Wow.
That's teaser number 1, Adam. For
Wow.
What a fact check.
Yeah.
A+ work so far, man. You know what? I already forgive you for the
Matt is
tag.
winning the show. Matt has won the show. It's over.
Well, I'm a Chiefs fan. We win everything.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
All right.
Well, now you can boot him. You got it.
A lot of grenades to avoid on this podcast now.
We win everything. You son of a bitch.
Later on in today's show, of course, we hope somebody's going to join the show to try to compete in the steps. If you want to compete in it, you want to hop on the DNBA Lounge. We'll put the link out there momentarily. We're also going to play a little overrated, underrated. We didn't get to it yesterday with Tommy, so instead we're going to have Matt. I have a feeling he's going to call everything overrated. I made sure that Brendan vote was one of the things we're going to rank, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, the segment of underrated, overrated is definitively overrated.
Oh my god.
I actually think it's underrated. Actually,
too. I love seeing how people put it. Wow, Matt's coming in hot. But we're going to start off. There is a little bit of news, I guess, to talk about. And I didn't even prep you for this, Matt, so I apologize. But one of the topics of the day is this NCAA versus the G League. And I guess it's not really a versus. It's really maybe it is a versus. But the G League has really, or the NBA has really put together a path that I think is intriguing, and apparently a bunch of other high-level prospects do as well, because now I think 3 of the nation's top high school prospects are forgoing NCAA, going straight into the G League. Will earn more money than usual. It's $300,000 to $500,000, and we'll get a bunch of other different things like a scholarship and training, finance training, and different things like that. First of all, Matt, what do you make of this news? There was a new player today. This is why it's come up. But what do you make of this new path the G League is laying out?
I mean, I think it's great because I think Silver realized that the tone has shifted. Like, a lot of this is that the tone of the country has shifted over the last 20 years. So in the mid 90s, 2 things were definitively considered sinful, and one was sports, was gambling, and then 2 was paying athletes of any type. It was supposed to be amateurism and the spirit of the game and all this. And I think that Silver has realized over time that those attitudes have shifted, and people are a lot more cynical now of power structures. And so he's using that to adapt in what's good for the league, what's good for the sport. The other thing I think that's pretty clear, he can't do this unless he has the backing of the basketball infrastructure, right? So if coaches and guys like Jerry Colangelo in charge of Team USA and all these people, if these people were all no, it's a bad idea, we need them to go through college training, it's really important, then it would be different. But most coaches that I've talked to, whenever I ask about this, the response I've always gotten is, they don't know anything coming out of college. Half these guys are playing zone, and you can't do that in the NBA unless you play for Miami. So there's no benefit there. So instead, the idea is no, we want to get into our system quicker. And you've got the G League, which has been around for decades and has never gotten real support, and has still not gotten real support, and still does not have all 30 teams with an affiliate. And so there's this continuing issue, but the league does want to support it. This provides a pathway, especially for people here's one thing. You don't want guys going overseas into dubious situations with dubious trainer situations. The training situations in China are not great. And so if a guy goes over there and plays, it's going to long-term impact his career when he could be in a better situation. Right. And so there are all these situations which are not great for them. And so this provides them with a better opportunity, I think, for them to get basketball training. A lot of this also too is let's be honest, if they can't muster the academic requirements, but let me put it on the face here, they can hoop, then then there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to apply their trade. I think Silver's realized look, this is an opportunity for everybody to win here. We can work with the NCAA. We can provide an alternative. The NCAA is clear. The other thing I think is clear is Silver looks at the NCAA and is they're not going to win this fight long term. Yeah. The NCAA is not going to win this fight long term. They're on the slow decline as everybody keeps going, God, you guys are the worst. And so the NBA always wants to be the one that's like, as opposed to those guys, we're pretty cool. Look how forward thinking we are. And so giving them an opportunity to go make some money, I think is good. I have a lot of questions about some of the things that have been proposed in terms of how they're going to set this up. But the short-term answer is I think this is good for the league. I think it's good for the athletes. I think it's good for putting pressure on the NCAA. I think all of this is good.
Yeah. What are some of the questions that you have about it? Like,
So
what are the concerns?
So one thing that they've talked about is the G League select team. Like, they're talking about this scenario in which they're going to create like a specialized division for these players. And I'm like, you're just hurting your whole minor league at that point. Like, let's just have like a minor league. Like, baseball has been doing this forever.
Yep.
This is like, let's not overly complicate this. Like, just bring up the entire G League, get some of these guys that have been making $35,000 some actual living money so they can like take care of their families, because there's enough money to go around here. Y'all are clearing enough, even after all of this nonsense is over.
Although if you make a baseball analogy, like the dudes that are playing in the minor leagues like make like $11 a year, like because nobody cares about minor league baseball.
Right. But I think some of this though too is like there are tiers here to be able to make like a passable living.
Sure.
Because there's so many fewer players too, right? Like there's just like the competition is pretty select on these rosters. And so I think there's an opportunity there. I also just think the big thing is just like, if you're going to have these kids come in and go this route, it's good to have ways to support them and manage their minutes and provide strength and conditioning and all the things that NBA rookies get. Like, that's important.
Yeah.
But you also you also don't want to have it be like they're special and everyone else is dirt. But there's a middle ground here to find.
Don't you think this is going to undercut the NCAA even more, in a sense, in that the Dukes and the like high power programs will have boosters that are able to pay players through endorsement deals, or they'll have ways to funnel them money that in large quantities,
like they probably do. Right
yeah, but it's like now there's no restriction on it, so it really becomes just 4 or 5 teams get all of the. I mean, maybe it's that way anyway, but maybe it like debases the ability for mid majors to be a thing, and I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking. Like, does this actually hurt the NCAA in the end?
I mean, I think it probably hurts smaller schools, but here's the thing is like the college basketball product is so inherently chaotic that it doesn't wind up hurting the fans. Like,
yeah, it might hurt the overall product, but I mean, if we're being honest, everybody's still watching March Madness and skipping work to watch college basketball all day, no matter really what the talent level is.
I mean, if anything, it does what we saw today, right? Which is maybe spur some change in how the NCAA views this. And note that, guys, when maybe some money or some top prospects are on the table here, how quickly did some of those staples of amateurism wash away for them? So now obviously I'm talking about they're allowing players to profit off their likeness via third parties and all that. I just think it's funny that it's something that they argued they could not survive without for so long. And it took, 7 days after this change for us to see that.
Yeah, the part about the likeness is funny because I really do wonder if players are asking themselves, like, okay, I can get paid a lot more money in the G League and profit off my likeness, but I can also go to Duke and profit off my likeness as well, because I don't know. I feel like somebody like Zion definitely benefited from going to Duke and getting his brand built up there, as opposed to like going to Australia.
So a lot of this is like is going to come down to it's situational dependent. So like if you're in a spot where my mom has cancer, I've got 3 sisters and 2 brothers, I'm the man of the house, I have to put food on the table. You can go to the G League and make enough to take care of them. And you don't have to worry about about violations and getting kicked out.
You don't have to worry about going to like 100 level communication courses at 9 a.m.
Right, exactly. And then on the other hand, if you're like a top prospect and you're stable and like you have the opportunity, you're still like, so many of these guys are still going to go for it because everybody has that dream of like being the big guy on campus, like playing in the NCAA tournament, one shining moment, and like, not to go too far down this road, but the campus lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm serious though.
This is big. Yeah, this is
the
big.
adult lifestyle on campus.
We'll continue that. Like that'll continue to be really appealing. You know.
Then again, you can also like make $500K and live in LA on Manhattan Beach in the G League, which probably
so
isn't
in LA
that bad
that's
either.
about like a livable wage, just about.
For real, actually.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
It's true. That's a good point.
I do think that there will be a lot of people that just that can't afford to go to college and maybe feel, and Zion might have been a guy that fit this, I don't know, but that just says, you know what, I'm pretty much a surefire NBA player. I can afford my year at Duke, where my brand is going to get bigger. I'm going to have the Duke network, and I know it's a risk because I could blow out my knee and never play again, but odds are I'm going to be in the NBA 1 year later, and that's way better than being in South Carolina or North Carolina. Where did they end up putting this? Do you know, Matt, where the team is that is going to be all the top prospects? I thought they were building a specific team. It's LA,
right?
Yeah. I thought it was North Carolina, but okay, if it's LA, then that's even more ridiculous. So
who wants to go to North
Carolina? Yeah, that's not a great sell.
What are you talking about?
Well, there's a lot of reasons to put a place somewhere other than where the guys want to be. I mean, come on.
Not if your biggest hurdle is getting the guys to come to you.
That's true. That's true.
Are you guys at all concerned about the fact that these guys are going to be playing for absolutely nothing? Like, they're not even going to be playing in the G League. They're going to be playing in the select league against all these other academies throughout the world. They're not going to be playing for anything throughout the entire year. Like, that's kind of depressing if you're a player, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it's really twisted. I think that's like, again, I just think that they're overcomplicating this in an effort to like ease them in or provide some sort of like middle level. And I'm just like, I honestly, a lot of it is, even though it increases the risk of injury, I don't think it would be a bad thing for them to have to play against some of the men in the G League. Like, there are dudes in the G League that will just bust your ass. Like, they're just big dudes, and they will bust your ass.
Jack Cooley is the ultimate example. I bring him up as often as I can on this show. Jack Cooley's just a big dude that goes to Summer League every year just to beat up on 18-year-olds for like coaches. That's his only role. Just to go test guys.
He's great at it too. My God,
he's so good at it.
That's what I love about G League prospects. I get older, they stay the same age.
Wow. I have a question. I have a question for the gloater over here. What took so long on the NBA's end? You talked about they needed the backing and the infrastructure. What was the hang up in saying, hey, we're not just going to let the G League sit there. Let's treat this like a product that we want to market.
They're still not treating it like a product that they want to market. That's why they're putting the select team and separating it out. Like,
right.
Okay. I think a lot of, there's a couple things in play here. So one, the biggest problem is ownership. Like, ownership is the biggest problem because there are a select number of teams that accept that their ownership groups understand, like, this is a loss. Like, I'm not going to make money on the G League. I'm never going to make money on the G League, but it's good for our basketball program. Like, the Rockets are the model for this, in my opinion. Like so many coaches have gone through Rio Grande Valley and come out on the other side successful. And they find guys consistently that they need to fill minutes. That's how they find guys. They go to the G League, they test them out, they get a good feel for them. But most of the teams, the owners are like, well, yeah, but what am I getting out of it? Like, what am I like? I have to sink $3 million every year into this thing. Whereas if you tell them, like, hey, you could spend $3 million on this very raw prospect that could win us a playoff series when he will not play whatsoever, they're like, okay. So, like, that's part of it. The other thing, like, a lot of it, honestly, is just like the NCAA is really powerful. It's always been powerful. The NBA also, in my opinion, this is an opinion thing, never wanted to be presented as an enemy of the NCAA. They've had to manage that because the NCAA is very popular because it reinforces a lot of power structures that people are super comfortable with and really like. Like, boosters really like the current system.
Yeah.
They like that.
There's also a lot of tradition. To be fair, there are non-nefarious reasons that people like it. I mean, I don't personally have the connection to it, but there are people that are like, I went to Duke and my grandpa went to Duke.
Right. I'm not saying that like, my thing is, like, I'm not saying that those people are nefarious. I'm saying that those people are oblivious to the ramifications because they're basically like, I like this.
Right.
Like, I like that my team is good. Like, that's a problem.
Right.
And, like, I like,
that's basically how the world works, though. Like, if something is good for you, then people tend to think it should stick around, and if it's not good for you, then people tend to think it should leave. And that's
we should stay indoors. We should stay indoors for another 30 days. Yeah, but I really like going to PF Chang's.
Yeah, I do like going to PF Chang's.
I really like PF Chang's, though.
I do too.
But
is there a world?
PF Chang's is delicious.
Is there ever a world in which these prospects are funneled not into a select team, but to the G League, and there's enough of them that this is a something to market? This is a product.
Yeah, I think so. I think eventually there's a system where it opens up and they're able to do that. The problem is like to do that, you also have to negotiate with the players' union because that's going to it's going to implicate draft stuff a lot.
Right.
Like, let's say that I'm trying to think of, let's say you're Memphis, okay, and you land a player in the draft and you send him down into the G League and you spend time there. Like, what does he get paid down there? How does that impact your roster down there? Does he count against the salary cap? How does that work? There are those kind of things, and that happens now. But there's also the problem of like the converse, which is, okay, let's say he can't be drafted. Okay, he comes in, he spends 2 years in your system, and then he gets drafted and he goes to LA, and now he tells all the LA coaches about what you're running in the Memphis G League, which is going to reflect some of the things that you do at the pro level. And teams are insane about protecting those kind of things. So like there are implications all over that they have to sort out with the players. Like you have to restructure the CBA, and the players never want to talk about this because the players union is run by veterans who don't care about rookies and young guys. They're like, make a name and then I'll care about you.
Yeah, they're actually angry towards them.
Yeah, I got a thing going back to something Vogt was saying, like why this happened now. I mean, just look at the top 5 projected in the draft. Like LaMelo Ball went to Australia to play this year.
Yeah.
James Wiseman played in like 2 games before he sat out the rest of the year. I feel like to an extent this had to be kind of a tipping point for the NBA. They're like, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
Well, one of my questions is, can these guys that are going, there's 3 guys so far.
RJ Hampton went to Australia too.
Could these guys like hurt their draft stock? I almost feel like it's you can raise it or it can stay the same, but are these guys going to show up and get knocked for going down there? I just don't see it. Whereas if they went to, Kansas State or something, and Kansas State just gets murdered and everything else, like it's like, oh, I don't know if this guy's a winner. And I wonder if it's almost smarter for these guys from their draft profile going into this program.
You gotta feel like they'll have like everything at their advantage, right? Just like the competition, the system that they're going to be playing. Like everything's going to be tailored
familiarity
to show off
with
their
NBA
skills
schemes
for
and
NBA
terminologies.
teams. Right.
I mean, even that stuff is, I think, important. NBA 3-point lines.
I mean, look, if I have to draft a guy from Syracuse or a guy from the G League Select team, I'm taking the guy from the G League Select team.
You're not taking Carmelo Anthony?
I'd take Melo.
I think it's interesting. I do wonder. We're basketball junkies, and I am really excited to see these guys play, and I'm excited to see this new G League format. Now, it might just be because it's year 1 of this thing, but I do wonder if Zion Williamson. We watched him at Duke this year, and that was like the only team in college I enjoyed watching last year was Duke because of Zion. If Zion's at the G League, I'm probably watching a lot of G League of those events, so I'm curious to see if it raises that profile at all, or if it's still the feeling of there's no history to it and it's not the best. So why am I going to tune in to watch? Jalen Green score 40 points against some guy I've never heard of. So I don't know.
They're going to be playing like the Africa Academy.
Like that could be interesting though, and it's silly now, but look, 10 years ago, African basketball was, just a seed. Now it's growing and there's a pipeline of people coming. Another 10 years and
right.
Some of these African leagues and feeder programs might be just every bit as good as the G League. I mean, who knows how
next
how
year
it
it could be the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals.
Yeah. Man, we had a whole list of things to get here, but I think that one was so fascinating. I guess we could talk about sports betting in Colorado, or because this is an area I think one or two things about.
It's like Harrison Ford, sports betting.
Yeah, exactly. So that's arriving on our shores on Friday.
On our shores.
That was a great phrase. On Friday, sports betting will be legal in Colorado, and you can bet on, well.
What's the craziest thing you've bet on during the pandemic, Matt? I'm dying to know.
Let's see. I bet on a rugby match based off of a recommendation. I know nothing about rugby. The biggest thing is that I've gotten really into esports, the Overwatch League. That's been like the big thing that I found to bet on. There's like a crazy.
Bet on that? Of course
you can. Yeah, of course you can. I've actually got I'm writing content for Action Network, I'm doing advanced stats analysis.
Awesome. And I know you well enough Matt, you have a spreadsheet and there's little marks and you have a grading system and you combine, there's a formula.
Look at his face.
I had had to download a program to handle the file size. And yeah, I've been doing way too much on it. But yeah, you can also, you'll be able to bet like NFL futures, so you guys can all bet on like the Broncos over and then lose your money. You can do.
You're not at all worried about this last draft. It was incredible. Come on, man.
You can bet on stuff like Drew Lock to win league MVP and lose that.
Oh my God. Can we get rid of this guy? What's happening? We've lost.
You could bet on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl.
I always wondered what Matt would be like if his team won one championship. Now I know. Now I know what it's like when it only takes one.
Every bit as bad as his phone.
Are you kidding? I'm going to be exactly this bad if the Nuggets ever win.
In actuality, though, you'll be able to bet on NBA futures. There will be like Western Conference title odds up for the Nuggets, and they're going to be pretty good numbers based off of everything.
This year's?
Yeah, for this year's? Really?
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
I
don't care.
I guess that leads me to this one. Do you just have a sense at all, man? Like, if gun to your head, do you think the season is coming back?
Yeah, I do. I've switched 3 times. I'm back to, they're going to do it. So the biggest thing to remember, more than anything, is how much everyone loves money. Like, that's the number one thing to never forget. And so while this is the thing is like, well, we're going to be safe. We're going to be completely safe. We care about people's health. Absolutely. If some people die and we make some money, that's great. But people's health is the most important. And so my thing is just like, they're not going to give up. The other thing is the players are always going to like, think about this from the player's perspective. Okay. You're saying like, wait. I had to sit through a 65-game NBA regular season and play in the Magic in November and play in the Pacers in December and these cold weather cities and all of these road trips and the back-to-backs and 3 and 5 nights. I sat through all of that, and we paced ourselves for the playoffs, and we're not even going to do it. I get a year of my career. I don't even get. Then you have the money on top of it. Wait. I don't get my playoff cut. Like I was going to get my playoff money.
The only part of that matters.
No, I think it does matter. I genuinely because I think especially for guys that are in their primes and from 28 on, like you're able to see like the end point. Yeah. And like LeBron's an interesting one because of LeBron on the one hand has to be like, I only have so many shots left. On the other hand, LeBron's got to also be like, but I already won 3 titles and I'm already considered, if not the greatest of all time, then the second greatest of all time. Like,
I don't think he thinks that way, man. I think
one was up for grabs this year, man.
I know. Anytime it's right there for you.
He had a hand on this one.
So so then you should think like he's going to push them to compete. And then you've got like Giannis. We know if they call Giannis, he's going to be like, I don't care. Like I don't care. Yeah. Put it in Antarctica. I'll be there. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Make sure there's Kool-Aid, right?
Or whatever. Versus like if you're the Magic and they call like Evan Fournier is probably like.
I'll take the stomach.
I was going to say the whole Warriors. I think Steph Curry and
I'm already
Draymond.
on the French coast chilling.
Yeah, dude, he's not coming back anyway.
Right. So that's the question. And the other thing is from a league perspective, we're seeing enough of the states open up that's going to give them cover. Like here's the problem. The NBA can't open things up when everything else is closed and then have an outbreak. And then it's like, look what you did, you idiots. But if everybody's dumb, then the NBA doesn't risk anything. Like, if everybody's opening things up, then it's fine. Like, let's say that they open up and they resume play and Colorado has an outbreak. Nobody's going to be like, those damn Nuggets causing another pandemic. Like, that's not going to happen. So, like, the fact that things are opening gives the NBA a lot of cover to pull this off.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. Alrighty, let's Eric, I think it's time for a new segment.
Is it time?
I think it's time.
Baby.
Online with D-Line. Oh God, that's horrible. That's a truly awful sound.
I'm gonna shoot you straight, guys. I completed that graphic while Matt was talking about the Chiefs earlier.
Yeah, it's not the best. It's not the best. Not the worst.
We probably could have given you like 20 more minutes on the Chiefs if you needed to finish the graphic.
Well, I didn't know what I was up against, but all right. So obviously we're going to go around the World Wide Web and see what it has to offer us. In this first little post here, we're going to go back 4 years ago.
This video is not going to work.
Where the Boston Celtics talk radio heads were discussing whether or not trading the number 3 pick for 2 of the Nuggets centers would have been a good idea. Let's see what their thoughts are.
Dude, this clip,
Dark Knight himself, I think, has reached the same level of frustration when it comes to Celtics fans. The Dark Knight being our friend Adam Jones.
Yeah, you did not queue up this clip.
He lost his mind over this ESPN Insider.
This is like a 5-minute clip.
No, we're not playing the whole thing.
I've seen this clip before.
No, this is the shorter one.
But, certainly guys who know a heck of a lot more about this stuff than I do or we do.
Well, first off, he's slamming Kevin Pelton.
About what the Celtics should do at number 3.
Listen,
here we go.
The first question they ask these guys is, should the Celtics trade the number 3 pick? And Chad Ford says, it's looking more and more likely that the Sixers will be selecting Simmons at 1 and the Lakers will take Ingram at 2. I'll just stop there. What happened to Simmons falling? I thought.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this clip is definitely 5 minutes long.
It's the longest version out there.
All right, well, you know what? Hold on. Let me find it then.
And that was online with D-Line.
Our news segment.
Wow.
Fine.
Shooting 0 for 1 on the news segment.
Do you want to try?
Figure out what you're doing here. I want to. Our good guy Dev here. He was late to the chat. He wants to talk about Matt's outfit one more time.
If you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready, Eric.
So I want you to appreciate a couple of things about the levels I went to. First off,
is that a Windsor knot?
It is a Windsor knot. I'm wearing a purple tie because Malone can never wear purple, and I ask him about it every time about him not being able to wear purple. And to complete the outfit, as all classy men do,
whoa, 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 whoa!
What an incredible outfit.
That's gonna be a great screenshot later.
A splendid Serbian hooker.
Weird timing, but it works.
But it fits. Eric, are you ready for your segment here?
I was ready before. I mean, what the hell? All right, you know what?
Is that Dragon Bender?
Hold on, we'll go to a different clip. You guys clearly don't have the appetite.
Yeah, we are over Falger and Mad.
Well, all right. Anyway, they go on to berate the concept of Jocic and Nurkic for a good 10 minutes, and it's high comedy.
Those guys look exactly like the guys that don't know how to pronounce Jokic or Nurkic.
Yeah, they do. So second here we have just a bunch of highlights of Michael Porter. We're going to watch some more, obviously. But let's just bask in the glory of Michael Porter Jr. Look at these shots.
And hits. 20-4 run over the next 4
it's just making me more depressing.
Oh my God,
that's back.
Shoot that thing, Porter Jr. Quick jump on the second try.
What can't this man do? Look at these rebounds. Look at these mid-range games.
That's what he can't do.
And the stuff is good. Porter with a cut, nicely done, and he throws it down.
Can I say, in all honesty, though, MPJ's buckets are the most beautiful buckets on the Nuggets. There's nobody that, like, honestly, that I watched, I'm not afraid to admit, I watched that entire video earlier today. They're all great. Honestly, every single one of them is entertaining.
Yeah, I agree.
His rebound's also very entertaining, too. Best rebounding small forward in the league this year.
Do you concur, Matt?
Yeah. He's great. He's going to be a superstar. Like, let me put it this way. Is like, I guess the problem is, like, I've been doing this long enough that I'm already, like, scanning ahead, like Doctor Strange in Infinity War, where I'm seeing all of the outcomes, and they all, like, that's the comic book movie, Adam, by the way.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
With superheroes.
Is that the medicine woman?
Yes.
I think I've seen Doctor Strange medicine woman. I know what it is.
But like I'm already fast forwarding to MPJ brushes off free agency talks in 2028.
Oh, come on,
You
give the
son
guy
of
a
a
chance.
I just want to focus on this season. The fans in Denver have been so great to me.
You know,
and then they win the title, and then he dips and it's fine.
And it's all worth it. All right, D-Line, what do we got?
So here we've seen a lot of memes come out from The Last Dance. I think this one's my favorite. The Michael Jordan looking at the screen and
giant pants.
Yeah, Michael Jordan looking at giant pants on his iPad.
So what is your? Are you all aware of the Michael Jordan jeans photo?
Oh, of course. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but yeah.
No, the one of him dancing.
Oh, I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I think I'm aware.
Yeah.
Dancing in giant jeans?
Yeah. Yeah. Just you can't do just Michael Jordan dancing. You have to do Michael Jordan girls dancing.
Oh,
Eric, can you whip up an online with Matt Moore graphic real quick? So
yeah,
we can,
someone a little bit more qualified to take us to the internet.
No, do you guys think that MJ? So he wears a bunch of goofy stuff in this, right? Like he wears the Kangol hat, right? Does he make that look cool? Because I think he looks cool in it, even though I don't think another person on Earth looks cool in it.
He might be the only one that could ever pull it off.
This is this is the biggest clash Harrison and I have had in life, are over Michael Jordan's hats. And I say he looks ridiculous in all of these hats, and Harrison maintains, apparently with you, that he looks cool. And I don't know what to say except for that he doesn't look cool. They're terrible.
What do you think, Matt?
What?
His hats.
His very,
Matt? You are the fashion expert today, man. I mean, come on, man.
Are you talking about? Are we debating Harrison wins backwards hat?
No.
That
so
one's
Michael
sold
Jordan
in.
wears those like cabbie hats, like the Kangol hats, which I don't think anybody else on Earth has ever looked good in.
He wears mainly berets. He wears different versions of berets.
My favorite one was the tan trench coat, the tan beret.
See, this is my problem. Is just like every time I see Jordan, I just think, what an asshole. So like, no matter what he wears, I'm just like,
so
what
hot
an asshole.
Well, you might.
Carmelo Anthony also has the famous
Tuskegee Airman.
It's the Arby's hat, right?
Somebody Bucket since '88 commented that MJ can pull off any style. It's not fair, and that's a lie. Because like again, you've got to see these MJ photos, and like there are some looks that he cannot pull off. In fact,
the thing is, he can't go to skinny jeans now, or he's copying to being wrong for 20 years.
Yeah, he's got a brand to maintain.
This is such an incredible look, man.
This is an incredible look, man. This was an all-time fit right here.
Honestly,
the
Carmelo Anthony M. Bison.
Yeah. Bison.
Yes. Adam, do you understand that reference?
M. Bison? Dude, I played video games between 88 and 95, so yes, I do know M. Bison.
That's my range. That's my
range, bro. I've got lots of range.
What the
I don't know if
hell
you're
is
gonna.
This?
Since you don't like
another video, huh?
I don't know if you're gonna like this, Matt.
Great, Eric.
You've got so let's watch the skill and artistry of sand art. Slowly, meticulously
there's no way.
Putting together.
This is a Photoshop. Come on.
No, this is somebody filling with a little pipette. No, this is listen. People can do things, Adam, in this world.
There's no way anybody can actually do this.
And people do a lot of.
Look at this. Look at this.
That looks like a mix of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan.
I was gonna say
that's what people are commenting. This is like one of these things that's so unbelievably amazing to see come together. But like then you look at this, and if you were to display this in your home, you would have absolutely no taste. And this is like something that is undisplayable, but it's like so impressive to watch happen.
Do you know when you get married, one of the ceremonies you can do is the sand
ceremony?
Yeah.
Oh, my uncle
one weekend to being married, I spilled that sand everywhere.
Yeah, what if you spilled your Michael Jordan head sand thing? I mean, how would you feel about that?
You would feel really bad, like some artist out there. No, you want to know another cool sand? If we're doing sand art, let's do sand art. Another cool story. I was in Leon, Nicaragua one time.
As one time.
All right, I'll be back in like 10 minutes.
I was in Leon, and it was actually for Easter. And
I can't wait for this to get back to sand art.
Apparently on Easter, everybody goes into the street in this town and makes these elaborate sand things like that, just like with colored sand, and it's awesome. And then these cars drive through and run over them all. It's the weirdest ceremony ever.
terrible.
I love that part.
People,
That's
honest to
awesome.
God, spend 12 hours making this thing, and they're
Yeah,
up for
yeah.
about 2 before the parade of
Aren't you
cars
familiar
comes
with
through and
the
just
monks
destroys
that make the I believe Tibetan monks that create these really elaborate designs on the ground with sand, and then as soon as they're done, they just clean them up and they just start all over again.
There's a lesson in there,
Mandalas.
isn't there? The building is the beauty, isn't it?
Yes, but the lesson becomes cheapened when cars become part of it when they just run it over.
All right. It's time, guys.
I could have given you
like,
guys
all right.
like 10 minutes on the Aaron Gordon rap video, but no.
No, you know what? We'll just move
Sand
on.
dart, huh?
We do have somebody waiting in the wings here to join the show, so we're going to bring him on. It is
Yes!
Jack. And he's
Jack,
wearing the
what's
We
up,
Don't
man?
Skip Steps. Looking great. Jack,
Hey, love it.
where are you
literally
calling in
can't
from,
skip
Jack?
steps.
Parker.
We've had Jack before, don't you remember?
We had Jack on?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Jack's been on. I think the only guy from Denver or
He is. He's
the
from Parker.
outer skirts of the city of Denver that's been on the show.
We need Jack.
Gary
Other than
Harris
us.
jersey, right? In the back somewhere.
Yes.
And I have a lot of jerseys.
Oh,
Wow.
Hey,
Those look
Also,
like
bold
85% Gary Harris jerseys, though.
So the Gary
Old
Harris
move
thing
showing
is up there.
strangers your room on the internet. It doesn't work out for me usually.
All right, we're going to play overrated, underrated. And I had to bring Jack on for this because I know Matt Moore's answer to all of these already. It's all of... Actually, over or under, there are 6 questions. Over or under 1.5 underrateds? Nobody's going to answer? Okay.
Wait,
I didn't understand
I'm
your
not,
question.
I'm not going to answer because you already know. So why would I tell you what you need to know? Because you already know everything about me.
I'll
right.
go over.
Okay, all right, Jack. You can answer first. The first item, avocados.
What?
avocado.
What?
Avocados. You guys don't know what avocados are?
It's an avocado, first of all.
It's you can call it an avocado.
No, you cannot.
Can
No,
you?
you cannot.
This is
I don't
crazy.
think so.
Is anybody else?
This is like a Colorado,
There's no way there's
Colorado.
multiple
Avocado.
pronunciations.
You're wrong. And
All right,
it's weird.
avocado
Yep, there
with
we
a
go.
little tomato.
So,
Start with you, Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
I'll go overrated.
wow. Every millennial just all died.
Matt.
Underrated based off its ability to be used in poke.
Ooh, that's
Nice.
such a bad answer. I never make poke. Is it pretty good?
It's
Yeah.
amazing. Make
It's
it with watermelon, and it's incredible.
And apparently avocado also.
An avocado.
Yeah, an
Unbelievable.
avocado.
You guys are heathens. Vote. Where are you going with this?
Underrated, overpriced.
Okay, well there you go.
Dynamic answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Had to change it up.
I'm going to go
Harrison?
underrated. Avocados are incredible.
Yeah, I mean they are, but they're so highly rated though.
I know, that's
I love
true.
how Harrison's always right about. He always factors in the actual rank, like where they're rated. They are. rated
I'd
very
still
high.
probably go a little underrated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite foods. So you guys got that right, except for Jack.
Okay, next one is sand art.
Underrated.
That's over.
Playing sad music when you're sad. I'm gonna start with you, Matt. Overrated or underrated?
Underrated.
Oh.
It's underrated because I think that the depths of our human experience are defined by how far. Shut up, Dylan. Our human experience, right? Like, if there's anything, like, everything feels very intense during this quarantine. And so I think, like, if you're able to find those moments where you're actually able to delve into what it really means to be human, like, those things are really important. And, like, we need to, those things that, and you're also able to share those things. Like, you're able to say, like, yeah, I listened to this song like 85 times when my girlfriend broke up with me. And, like, people will be like, yeah, I know how that feels. So like, that shared connectivity, I think, is really important. So I think it's underrated.
So you think part of being a human being is listening to Tori Amos in the dark?
I would say Amy Mann, but yes.
That's what it
Nice.
is to be a
Good
human,
choice.
is to listen to Amy Mann in the dark with candles.
I also
Yeah.
go underrated. What do you think, Vote?
Underrated. I do it all the time.
Yeah,
no
of
kidding.
course. Harrison?
Jack,
I'm going overrated. I've never done that.
that's believable. That's
like a-
very
that's
believable.
Unbelievable.
This is a
Jack,
deep
what do you
dive.
think?
I'm Harrison Wind. I'm Harrison Wind for DNBR, and I'm dead inside.
Hey, something bad happens, I'm just flipping the page. I'm moving on.
What are you thinking, Jack?
Yeah, I'll go with underrated too.
I agree. I named
Jack,
my
who's your
daughter after
favorite sad
Elliott
artist?
Smith. I lean
have
into
no
depressing music.
Yeah, this has everything to do with the psyche of the person you're asking. If you have like a damaged soul and like you really want to lean into your pain so you can learn to feel again, then that
I just like how Harrison's basically like, well, I've never been sad.
I love it.
I know.
I love it. I love it.
I've been broken up, or I'm not going to go there. But
we almost got a little bit of Harrison's personal life. I can't wait for it.
I'm not going to go there. But if I was,
Hold on a
I would
second.
not put on sad music. That's just not what I would do.
Hold on a second. I'm playing.
Oh man!
Like this,
Harrison,
I would never
tell me
want to
the
listen
story,
to this.
Harrison, about when you were broken up with.
Oh man!
3rd grade, man.
Oh wow!
Please bring up that last comment, Adam, from Sibling there.
3rd grade, middle lunch period.
Oh my God! Look at this. Wind, would you say you move forward? I love our listeners. Great work there. Great work. All right, next one. I'll start with you, Vote. Window seats.
Overrated, because the proper way to fly is to have the window shut so you can sleep when you need to or want to. And
You
by the
control
way,
that.
thank you for this
Yeah, of course.
PSA. Yeah, but that's why, like, oh, I see what you're saying. No, but I don't need the window view because I always close it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But with that said, if you get on a morning flight and you fall asleep with the window open, you are the worst. You're the worst kind of person.
Here's the thing, though. The window seat is not about the window. It's not. It's
You're
about
right.
not having to
It
get
is.
up for people that are trying to go to the bathroom.
Man,
Oh.
that's great. That's actually not
For
about
me,
that either.
for me, it's about the
I
ability
always
to
go for the window
lean
seat.
on to like you can lean on the wall. You got
Eric got
Yeah,
it
you
right.
got the
That's
wall,
right
too.
Answer. That's the right answer. Yep, you have to be able to lean. Jack, what do you think?
Definitely overrated.
Oh, Jack, come on.
Easy to me.
Come on.
the other thing about the window seat is that you can then look at the clouds and the earth and the sky and
Yeah,
it
I
that's
reminds you
can't
just
of
help
added
but look
bonus.
out the window.
and it
I
reminds
can't
you of
help
being
it.
human. You know.
I can look
Then
out
you
the
can
window
put on
for
some
12
sad
hours.
music.
Play some sad music. Matt, where do you go with this one?
It's underrated because anything that enables you to escape from humanity and the throngs of the plebes surrounding you in an airport and on a
What an
plane
episode. Wow.
is valuable. Because like I've traveled enough because of like doing playoff travel that I got to the point where the big thing for me honestly was when they stopped making you turn off your electronics. Like if you had small like an iPad or a tablet, when they stopped doing that, so I can go to a window seat, I can sit down, I can turn on a podcast on my device, I can just close my eyes and escape from all of it until the plane lands and then get off. It's like I'm not even there. That's my objective, is to not be on the plane.
You know,
All of Matt's answers are
It is
very
true, though.
existential. Very existential answers for Matt in overrated, underrated.
I have passed out on a Trans-Pacific flight one time, and I swear that flight was 5 minutes. And I was just like, wow, what a blessing that was to fall asleep. Have you guys ever fallen
Did
asleep?
you take a Xanax or something? Jesus.
I did have a sleep helper, but have you guys ever woken up on the plane with like your mouth open or something? Like that's like my favorite
yeah.
thing that happens if you like are so passed out and then you wake up and realize you were doing something dumb.
I
Underrated
think
when
one
that happens.
time I like woke up from a bad dream and screamed or something. I'm not even joking.
So here's mine. I used to fly hungover a lot, and
Was that it?
Don't-
That was the story.
don't do that. Jack, don't do that. And then two,
Jack, never drink.
never drink. Don't do that. And then two,
It's bad.
Except for the
And then-
DNVR bar.
and then two, like when I would drink, and so I would feel horrible, and like I would be so miserable that in like the middle of sleeping, I would just outright moan, just
Oh,
like
geez.
you're just in a, and then like you wake, and then like the mother of two is just sitting next to you with this look on her face, like, really, Really?
So
This
great.
quarantine is going to make us all paranoid to be like just the thought of being around a bunch of people in a plane right now freaks me out. We need to move on.
I'm never going back.
I'm staying quarantined.
Last one here. Push-ups. Start with you, Harrison. Push-ups.
This is going to be interesting.
I gotta go underrated because in the times that we're in, I mean, it's all I've got. Push-ups are one of the few things I've got right now to make sure I don't gain 20 pounds during this thing.
Oh, the times that we're in. What do you think? What do you think, Eric?
Push-ups are very underrated. We live in a time where people think you need to be part of a big, like gym, mega gym, like part of a whole like workout structure. But really, all you need is your own body weight, your arms, the gravity. You can whip yourself right into shape for free, baby. Just do some push-ups.
I don't know why I asked everybody this. Jack, what do you
just
think?
sounded
Push-ups.
like Steve Carell trying to explain.
Underrated? Big fan of push-ups, huh, Jack? I hate them.
I guess.
Matt, please tell me these are overrated.
I am sad to tell you that they're underrated.
Oh.
So the reason I say that is I had to do something to get the tension out from having a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old constantly climbing and attacking me. Like my children just attack me every day. And so my tension relief was like I started doing the Orange Theory fitness workouts on YouTube every day. And I've lost like 10 to 15 pounds. I haven't measured it, but I've lost like significant weight. And one of the things I've done a lot is like push-ups. I was never good at them. And because the Orange Theory makes you do planks all the time, I'm doing it enough to be like, no, like this is actually really good for you. So they're sadly, even though I hate them, they're underrated.
I agree. I actually do agree with this one. Push-ups are underrated. Beastin25_8 also agrees, and he happens to be a lifter. All right, Jack, do you want to play the steps? Are you ready to play the steps?
Sure.
That's
Let's
the
go.
enthusiasm I was looking for.
You've got a good helper with you this time.
You do have a good helper. So, question number 1 here. Matt, you know the rules, or maybe you don't. You are allowed to help Jack if he wants it. If he wants your help, you can help him. These questions are going to be pretty tough.
You can steer him the wrong way if you want to be.
You can steer him the wrong way.
Everything's in your core right now, Matt.
All right,
It's
Jack,
actually funnier if you do.
Jack, do you like Patrick Mahomes? This is a very important question.
I'll say yes for you.
Okay.
Great answer.
I will help you.
Question number 1. Who was the starting small forward on opening night of the 2019-20 season?
Will Barton.
No hesitation at all.
Wow,
The man knows his
Unbelievable.
roster.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Number 2. Who led the 2019-20 Denver Nuggets in box plus minus?
I feel like should be Jokic, right, Matt?
I don't think so because he logged a lot of minus games. It's not a bad answer, but I can't help you with what the alternative would be.
The curse of question number 2.
The second question.
This is a way too hard.
On Basketball Reference, Jokic is the box plus minus leader in like every season he's been here.
Then go with it.
I'll go with Jokic.
That is
Schooling Matt on
almost
analytics
talking
right
him out of
there,
it.
Jack.
So Jokic 7.6 box plus minus. Next closest Mason Plumlee at 2.2. So almost 4 times higher than
Mason
everybody else.
Plumlee, really?
Mason Plumlee. Box plus minus like skilled bigs. Next one up. Who were the 2 players selected ahead of Carmelo Anthony in the 2003 NBA draft?
LeBron and Milicic.
Yeah,
go ahead,
Darko Milicic.
You said Milicic, and I was like, that's wrong. It's Dark. Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 4. What sport besides basketball was Gary Harris a star at the high school level?
Football.
Wow, that was easy. Didn't even have to hesitate for that one.
Just-
I have a feeling Jack's going to earn a sticker pack. This one is kind of hard, though. This is for a sticker pack. Which player threw the most assists to Nikola Jokic this season?
Oh. Well, I feel like Jamal, they run the 2-man game a lot, but he also missed some games. And I feel like Barton played a lot with Jokic this season. You got anything, Matt?
I feel like Barton is a safe answer.
All right, I'll go with Barton.
Matt, how could you?
It was Murray, wasn't it? It was Murray, wasn't it?
It was 100%.
Of
Murray.
course.
By a wide margin.
So explain to me why you said this is a hard one.
Well, because it is hard. Because you got it wrong. And I knew there was.
I got it
opportunity.
wrong because I was like, oh, it can't be the starting point guard because he said it was hard.
Matt did not win the Super Bowl. Matt did not win the Super Bowl.
Oh my goodness. Look at Matt. That's for real, Matt. It was hard. That was a hard one. Like
Adam, you are a trickster with
Jack,
the
I'm
questions.
buying it. Find me on Twitter. I'm buying a sticker pack and I'm sending it to you because Adam Maris is cheating out of a contest, robbed you.
Oh my
and
God.
I will not stand for it.
The steps are a killer, Matt. Look, man, you are not the first person to give bad advice. You're actually only the second person to give bad advice. But that was tough. I feel bad for Jack.
I don't.
You literally laid a trap. Like you literally laid a trap.
I mean,
Was I lying? It was hard. That was a hard question.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
What's
hard.
the Denver Nuggets offense?
It only became hard when you declared it hard. It was a real Schrodinger's question.
Listen, here's a really difficult one. What player only knows how to run one set and throw it to one guy?
All right, that was mean, Matt. That was very mean. No, Matt, thanks so much for coming on, man. This was a lot of fun. It's good to sit and chat. Like when we are at Pepsi Center as media, you don't know this, Eric, but when we're here at media, you never know where the conversation is going to go. We just end up talking, and we usually talk for 2 straight hours, and the conversations go like this. There's a lot of basketball. There's also some arguing over whether or not push-ups are cool. So,
Tons of sand art talk.
Sand art.
Right up our alley.
So what you guys got right here with Matt and with Harrison and with Wynn, this is basically what it's like pregame at Pepsi Center with the media when we're waiting for the game to begin. So would you agree, Matt?
I miss it.
Yeah.
We're missing some things. We're missing me yelling at TJ for asking a completely insane question. We're missing we're missing me and Brendan basically trading barbs over me being old and him being a toddler.
Yep.
We're missing me making more references to the fact that Adam literally knows nothing about pop culture
Nothing.
at any point in time.
No, I know a lot about a very narrow type of pop culture.
I think some
And
would
then-
not call it pop culture even.
Right?
And then-
It's very indie culture.
He's into unpop culture.
And we're missing the moments where I realize that I'm talking really loud and parts of the Nugget staff are probably hearing me talk about
Those are my favorite.
how inept parts of the organization are. That's missing.
But what about the part where I come up at halftime and I tap you on the back and ask you to come to the perch and you tell me no every time? Are you missing that?
That has never happened.
That's happened many times.
Has never happened.
Well, Matt, thanks so much for coming on. Everybody else, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to see you again tomorrow. Seth Partnow, formerly of the Milwaukee Bucks, currently with the Athletic, going to join the show.
That guy.
He's got to
thanks,
follow
Matt.
you, though.
But-
Matt. He's got to follow you.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.